The old hotel stood abandoned, its crumbling facade a ghostly reminder of the lives once within its walls. It had been years since anyone dared to enter. But tonight, curiosity and desperation drove me forward. I was here for one reason only: to find room 423. My flashlight flickered as I stepped inside, the air thick with dust and decay. Each creak of the floorboards echoed like a warning, as if the building itself were alive. I moved slowly through the dimly lit halls, my breath visible in the cold air. The whispers began softly at first, like the rustling of fabric, but when I stopped, they grew louder, forming words that sent chills down my spine. "Do not go into room 423. I shook my head, dismissing it as my imagination. Yet the voices persisted, growing more insistent with each step. "Room 423 is waiting." A chill ran down my neck. What could be so terrible about this place? Why did no one speak of it? As I reached the end of the corridor, a single flickering light caught my eye. It hung from an overhead fixture, casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Something felt wrong. Too still, too lifeless. Suddenly, the light flashed wildly, and then darkness swallowed everything around me. In the pitch blackness, I heard footsteps echoing behind me. They weren't mine. Heart pounding, I fumbled for my lighter, flicking it back to life just in time to see a figure standing at the far end of the hall. Its eyes glowed faintly in the dark, piercing through the gloom like twin moons. Before I could react, it vanished. I stumbled backward, catching myself against the wall. When I looked again, there was nothing but silence. I took another step toward the door marked 423, but something made me pause. The numbers seemed to pulse slightly, almost as though breathing. Then the clock ticked once, twice, 3 times before stopping altogether. Time wasn't moving anymore, and suddenly I saw him. A man staring blankly ahead on the television screen. His face was familiar, yet distorted. He didn't move or blink, just watched me with hollow eyes. I turned away quickly, feeling uneasy. But when I glanced back, he was gone. Instead, his image appeared now on the computer monitor. His expression twisted in terror. The screen crackled violently, before going completely black. The clock started ticking again, faster than ever. And as I approached the door, it shattered into countless shards across the floor. With nowhere else to turn, I pushed open the heavy wooden frame and stepped inside. The hallway stretched out before me, leading deeper into the heart of the hotel. The air grew colder with every step, thick with the scent of mildew and rotting wood. At the end of the corridor, another door loomed larger than any other. It bore the number 423, but instead of being solid oak, it pulsed with an unnatural energy. Behind it, a shadowy figure emerged, standing motionless in the doorway. It wore a tattered robe, its features obscured by long flowing hair. For a moment, we locked eyes, both frozen in fear and anticipation. Then, without warning, the figure lunged forward with terrifying speed. I barely had time to scream before it wrapped its arms around me, pulling me into the darkness beyond the threshold. Everything went black. When I woke up, I lay sprawled on the floor, drenched in sweat and confusion. My body ached where hands had gripped me tightly. I scrambled to sit up, only to freeze in horror at what I saw. Standing over me was the same figure, now grinning wickedly. Its skin was pale and marred with deep scars, each wound pulsing with an eerie red light. "You shouldn't have come here," it whispered, voice dripping with malice. "Now you belong to us forever." Panic surged through me as I tried to escape, but the ground beneath me shifted unnaturally. I found myself sinking into the very floor, the grip tightening until I couldn't breathe. The last thing I remember was the figure leaning closer, its grin widening impossibly wide. "Welcome home," it said, voice mocking. "We've been expecting you." The next morning, the police arrived. They found me lying lifeless in the hallway, eyes wide open in terror. No cause of death was listed. Just a chilling note scrawled beside my body. He never left room 423. Weeks later, a new guest checked into the hotel, drawn by stories of its haunted past. Curious and eager for adventure, he ventured straight to room 423. By evening, he was reported missing. Search parties combed the area, finding only his belongings scattered outside the